I wonder how they decide which monitor to use. Again, the way this game starts is so funny. It starts on my bottom left monitor. It does all the intro videos on the bottom left, then it's like, wait. The real show happens up here. And then when the game starts, it goes to my main monitor. We're back in Silent Hill 2. Listen, you know what to expect from this game. You know what to expect here. I'm a screamer. I want you to know I'm a screamer. Okay? Maybe we need an emote of me screaming. Right? That's what we need for the stream. I know you all want like Missy spinning and some more jank emotes. I think me just screaming is a good enough emote. Now, I fixed all the performance issues with a mod called Ultra Plus. So thank you, Sammy Lucia on Nexus Mods for getting this mod up and helping us fix things. If they didn't make this mod, I don't think this game would be playable for most, if not all, people. I'm also deciding to use DLSS because apparently this is actually important to this game. So basically, I learned a bit more about this game. One, it's Unreal Engine 5. Two, Unreal Engine 5 has per pixel effects now, which means it's specifically made for DLSS, where you run it with DLSS and it extrapolates the rest of the effects, and so you get a lot more performance. But because of that, if you don't use DLSS, it doesn't run as well. My 2080 Ti is now at the end of its lifetime. Whoa, the menu has the starting area of the famous VHer chat map Silent Hill, made by Slinker Live. Whoa! Isn't this the map that Slinker Live made? That's crazy! He's never gonna live it down, is he? I've also changed some settings in this game. So one, you may notice the game looks a bit worse, but also runs a lot better. Two, I've lowered... I've changed the game to a retro look. So the game is now in a retro look. Which means there's no hotkeys. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Really, I'm just kind of lost here. So we're gonna see how this goes. I think I go to floor 1. Is there a basement? I don't think there's a basement, is there? I should go. I'm actually down to go. We'll do a VR chat day again someday. We need to do Power Wash Sim. Oh yeah, Narf. I sent a message about Power Wash Sim. But I've been playing a new VR chat day because I do kind of miss it. Oh god. Now there's some artifacts, as you can probably tell with the graphics. It's not perfect, but you know what? For the sake of getting more performance, I think this is fine. And boy, oh boy, is it way more performant. Because the alternative is it doesn't run that well. Hello? I'm going to the first floor. Should I go to the first floor? I actually don't know. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Now, again, I need to remind everyone. I am a screamer. There's a monster coming. Though it doesn't seem that way, I'm a screamer. Quite loud when things come to a full running start in these games. So, just fair warning, I am going to go quiet here and there. It's just as a way to help myself feel better. But, oh god, this is terrifying. Why is it so dark? Also, I've noticed that this game does some very annoying things. So, it's not perfect. I don't think any game is perfect coming out the gate. But the remake especially, there's some things about it that gets kind of annoying. One, the way that the character reacts to damage and the way that there's so much in the pain, it's actually very distracting. And it feels way worse to control. The problem is that on a harder difficulty, you're very much just... What feels bad? Like you kind of... You kind of need to be always lower health because I don't think most people are that good at the game, including me, so... You're always going to suffer on some degree, playing the game on a harder difficulty. Hello? Ah! Fucker! Jesus Christ, it's like a Mike Tyson thing. Why is it a boxer? These stupid legs. I also realized the game's volume went all the way back up, and I don't know why, and I'm so sorry. That must have been so loud for you. Your ears must be demolished. Seems a bit of a volume problem, too. I'm also realizing that I'm pretty sure the violence is intended. Like, you were supposed to be that violent to most things. Screamer streamer. Yeah, I'm a screamer streamer. That was terrifying. You know what it is? These things pop out of nowhere. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. But yeah, this I've noticed this with more newer games. They all seem to be going to work. Ah! What the fuck? Again! Not that shit. Shit. Ow! My turn. Oh. Oh. There's two things with newer games that I find kind of annoying. One, every newer game feels like a turn-based game, where you go, it's your turn to hit, and then it's their turn to hit you, and then it's your turn to hit, and then it's their turn. You're just taking turns fighting each other. Two, Jesus Christ, was that terrifying? My God. Let's go to the first floor. I'm pretty sure the first floor is a lot easier. Is someone coughing? Oh my God, someone's coughing. Wait. Hello? 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 Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, there's some major issues here. Oh God. That's not good. And the coughing and stuff too, and there's no healing items? Oh God. Hey, sir?
Hey, who's there?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Who are
I didn't
you?
do it, I swear.
Who are you?
Hey, are you okay?
I didn't do anything. He was like that when I got here.
He... Oh, you mean the man back there? In the kitchen?
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't kill him.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not saying that you did.
Yeah, he seems a bit weak.
My name is James. James Sunderland.
Eddie.
Eddie, okay. So, do you live here, Eddie?
No. I'm not even from this town. It's just...
Something brought you here.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. Well, they came at me. I didn't know what to do, so I ran. I came here. Figured it might be safe, but then I found the guy in the fridge.
Easy, deep breaths. Look, this place, it's not safe. These things, this whole town, there's something wrong with it. Might be best if you just get out of here.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, you want to come with? Maybe
Yeah?
together we can find a way out of this town.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
I can't leave.
No.
Not yet. I
Games.
need to find someone.
Fuck.
Oh.
And Eddie, be careful.
Yeah. You too.
Just closes the door. He's like, I don't wanna smell this. Oh God. Well, you know what? I like Eddie. I like Eddie as a character. I don't know who he is, but I really love him. See, because James is a bit. James feels very. I don't know. Very good at what he does. James feels a bit too good at what he does. James just kind of does his own thing. Like he's not afraid of anything. But that's the weird part is that James has no fear. It's something that I'm noticing. 2 football Superman. it's something that I'm noticing that James has way too much ease when it comes to dealing with these things. Because honestly, Eddie is the most normal reaction here yet. And it sort of makes you wonder, who is James and why does he react this way? Especially the way that he talks to Eddie, right? It's a bit like a father placating a child.
Eddie, are you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, Eddie, what if I drag some monsters in? Eddie, if I drag some monsters in, would you be mad or would you be happy? I'm gonna drag this monster in. Look. Come on. Come inside the house. Come on. Come here. Oh, they don't care. Sorry. I realize that the very, very high effects volume is actually kind of annoying. It's the one thing that I'm noticing about newer games. So there's two things I notice a lot about newer games. One, they do a lot of the sound mixing feels a lot like a Christopher Nolan film in a lot of newer games. High dynamic range is the thing to go for, right? Which, it's nice for certain types of games. Like in this game, it works very, very, very well. But even then, I find it difficult to play with just because it's so quiet at times. It's very, very hard to get a sense of what's happening when it's so quiet. Two, the combat, as you kind of have noticed this entire time, it's very turn-based. It feels like modern fighting combat systems have sort of become this slow paced, very I don't want to say boring, but definitely very predictable style of play where you take your time fighting people, and when it's your turn, it's your turn. When it's their turn, it's their turn. Also, the fog is going to look really bad, and I know that. There's nothing I can really do. It's just the way it is. Oh my god. And it's interesting to sort of see that happen, right? I think a lot of newer games seem to be doing this because it's sort of what the market expects. But I don't necessarily know if it's better. It just feels like... It feels like we've all collectively decided as an industry... Well, I say we, but like, I'm just a player. But it feels like everyone's collectively decided that this much slower paced I go, you go gameplay style is engaging in some way. Which it can be, because, you know, all combat systems are basically that. I've always talked about this idea of combat systems being something similar to, you have one side that adds a number, one side that subtracts a number, and you just give them tools to add and subtract faster or slower. That's basically what these combat systems are, right? All of them. Every single one of them is the exact same. But you kind of wish that there was a way to paint the pig a little more, right? To make it a little more pretty. Put some more lipstick on. When's it your turn to use the Xbox? Yeah, exactly. It's like, when's it my turn to fight? It's my turn to fight. No, it's my turn to swing. The boxing enemy is actually the largest. The boxing enemy is the best way to see this. With the two legs on the top, that's the best way to see when this happens. Also, actually, I know exactly how to make the fog look better. This game is very weird in that even on the lowest graphics, it looks kind of amazing, and I'm already on the lowest. But basically, even on the lowest graphics, it looks really good. They've done a great job tuning the looks of this game to look very, very nice. That's why games are great, because everybody loves math. I like how you lied. I like how you lied collectively to our faces, all of us, to all of chat. How dare you say that? There we go. See that? Okay, so now it's my turn, and then it's its turn, and then it's my turn. And then it's its turn, and then it's my turn. And it's its turn, and then it's my turn. And it's its turn, and then it's my turn. You know what I mean? The worst part is, too, you can't dynamically play with the system. worst part too is that you can't dynamically play with the system. You can't change the timing of it, because if you attack multiple times, you're always punished. And if it attacks multiple times, all you need to do is just keep walking away, because it just kind of walks towards you. It's a very simplistic model. It works for this game, and I think Silent Hill, again, it's not really about the combat. So you have to make a concession somewhere, but you know, it definitely does feel like that. Isn't that how it is like in real life? If you evade, then you hit, then you hit, they evade. Yes, but with a lot more ceremony. The thing about real life is that you have a fair number of mind games. You can't mind game a computer. Like you quite literally cannot feint things. In real fighting, you actually do a lot of feints like very often. It's why you tend to see people in the fights. What they'll do is, I mean, in street fights, but also in professional fights, they'll like test you. Like they'll actually like test you. They'll like pretend to throw things, and they'll see how you react, right? Because the goal is to see how you, as a person, are going to react to what they do. And there's no mind games of that sort. Here, it's very simplistic of like, you hit, you react. You hit, you react. There's a bit of a mind game thing. There's also the dynamism of like a real life fight. Like you have all of your limbs, right? I want you to look at every part of your body. Every single part that has a hard bone on it, that's a striking point. You can strike with your elbows. You can strike with your shoulder if you really want to. It's very hard to. I think I've only ever pulled that off like, successfully in a fight once. And that's just because like I was already grappling someone and they were trying to pull me off. So I just like fucking shoulder bumped them. But or you do it with your fist, right? Or you do it with your knees. You have your like... You have your foot, like probably mainly the ball of your foot, not really the heel or anything. Like you have some options. Oh fuck. So you have a couple of options in the real life that like make it very, very dynamic, right? What I'm talking about is more about like when you have a game like this, where you only really have one option. You do this, you dodge. You do this, you would dodge. There is no like dynamism with the way that you can affect the flow of the fight, right? There's no way for you to change the pace of the fight. And it's primarily about pacing. And there's no way for you to do it multiple times, because even here, like in real life, if you punch someone multiple times hard enough, they're gonna be like dazed. Getting punched in the face like dazes you very, very hard. It's a really painful experience and you don't know what's going on. You're going to lose your balance. In here, if I hit a monster multiple times, like after 2 hits, it's just gonna be like, all right, super armor time. I'm gonna do my attack, and you have to dodge, otherwise you get hit. In real life, it's very different, right? So it's like I wouldn't even compare it to real life, other than the fact that you have that basic overall framework, but it's the ways that it's like the framework is the same, but you have so many different options within that framework in a real life that it feels like a whole different thing, right? Obviously, in the game, it's harder because you have to program everything on its own, right? So I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I am recognizing that like Silent Hill 2 is a very simple game, and it didn't really give you many options, right? Because you get the same thing in, say, God of War, the new God of War games, or you get the same thing in Elden Ring and like Dark Souls. But in those games, you have way more options to play with, like a lot more options. You can do a lot more with what you're playing with, to the point where it feels like a real life fight in terms of the full dynamism, right? You may not have your elbows, you may not have your knees, you may not have your heel, you may not have the ball of your foot, you may not have your fingers, you may not have your grapples, you may not even have your weenus, okay? Because you can choke somebody in between your weenus and they'll pass out. You may not have those options, but at least in Elden Ring, you have fireballs and you can summon things and you can do all kinds of cool things. You can change your weapons mid-fight and you can cast the spells, right? But what I'm saying is that everybody's adopting that same combat system, but they're not understanding like why it makes it so good, right? But at the same time, when it's simple like this for a horror game like Silent Hill 2, it's good enough that you don't really feel forced to learn a very, very difficult combat system. It's very, very nice and easy. It's very, very straightforward, and so you can focus primarily on the horror aspect. Oh my god, it's right there. But yeah, fighting in real life is a very different experience. It feels way more dynamic. And it's just because you have so many different options. And because it's a bit like playing Dark Souls on hard mode, especially because like you can cancel attacks. Like in real life, like you can just stop throwing a punch. Like and you can practice this now. You can throw a punch at your monitor and stop before it hits your monitor. You can't do that in the game. If I left click, I can't all of a sudden dodge out of it. But in real life, I could. Well, I just hear you like can. But in a lot of games, like once you start like a heavy attack, you just like you're kind of stuck in it. Whereas in real life, you can just let go and just do anything else. Like real life is very dynamic. And it's funny because there's this one guy in an MMA fight where I think he played with this concept. It was so fucking funny. It was a live MMA fight. He started rolling, like he started dodge rolling, but he didn't stop. He did 5 dodge rolls in a row, and he went to the center of the ring. He just kept dodge rolling, and his opponent like put his hands up, like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "I'm dodge rolling." Come on, over here, come on, go. Man, this real life game sounds pretty cool. Real life fights are very scary. I wouldn't recommend it. Oh my god. I don't get the timing of it. Sometimes it gets like an extra attack after. But most of the time it like doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't get like an extra attack. Where can you buy it? I actually recommend people to never get into fighting in a real life. I regret getting into it when I was younger, and I regret getting into it for so much of my life. It wasn't worth it. Street fights were terrifying because you didn't know if you were going to like die, right? The truth of the matter was you didn't know if anybody was going to bring knives. I was just lucky that most people, all the way up until high school even, didn't really bother bringing weapons. But I knew many people who brought like guns and stuff to these fights, so it wasn't always safe. 2, even if you go at it professionally, right, in like a sparring ring, you just need one asshole to ruin your life. Like they push a little too far, and they snap your leg, and that's it. Like you're not gonna ever move ever again, and you all of a sudden you have knee issues for the rest of your life. It's really hard to get into a good gym even, and it costs a lot of money, and like the injuries stay with you for the rest of your life. You get you get CTE. It's really painful. I wouldn't do it. I'll just shoot you. That's right, fuck you. I have a gun for a reason. It's my bow. Ow. Oh my god. But yeah, again, for Silent Hill 2, it's good enough to where it's simple enough to where it's still like passable, like it still works. But you recognize that it's a very simple system, right? It's compared to most of the fighting games and stuff. It feels so simple so as to feel meaningless in a way. And I kind of wonder if it'd be better to just give you no fighting capability, and you just have to deal with the fact that like these things can kill you. I've always sort of found that fighting systems, if you don't do it well, it feels very unsatisfying, underwhelming, and can lead to moments of frustration where it's like you have to do it, otherwise you can't really get through a room very easily. Because these things will just jump you, and if you don't do it, but if you do it, it's not like you're gonna have fun, anyways, right? Not that I'm not having fun, but I kind of wish I was playing Dark Souls now. is like what I'm saying. This one section especially. And the game really disincentivizes you from using your gun. Like, your gun is not a valid system to use. Because you run out of ammo so quickly that you're almost always better off going for a very, very melee-focused gameplay. Which is interesting. It's a very interesting take on the game system. But especially for a horror game, it makes sense though, right? Because you don't want people to use guns the entire time and feel safe. Because then you're just Resident Evil. One more somewhere, no? Wasn't there one more walking around? But you see how quickly it like turns into like a not really horror experience, and how quickly it becomes more of a action combat experience? It's a very interesting problem that horror games specifically have. And only horror games. And it feels interesting that it seems tied to the story as well. Because James himself is very much like, oh, he doesn't care. Like these things keep popping up. He just keeps killing them, and like it doesn't really affect them. James quite literally is not affected by any of this. It's violence. It's level of, pain. It just doesn't bother him. I was really hoping that was healing at him. What? I know there's something here. I know I can feel it. It all looks normal, but it's not. It's underneath, pulsing, trying to get out. Is it trying to get out? Or should I get in? I have to uncover it. Rip it to the surface. Peel it off, layer by layer, so I can see it. I know it's there. Huh. Even the first game actually had this idea of layers. You honestly rarely enjoy combat in games. Most of the time it just feels like filler between the good story / puzzle / exploration bits. I would say you've never played a good combat game then. I would say there's quite a few games that handle the combat very, very well. Right? To the point where it is the game. Not to say that the story isn't good, but like the combat is so fun so as to be very dynamic to let you play with a lot of elements. Like, take Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. That game from Arcane Studios is still one of the best combat games I played. And it's purely because every single combat situation, except for like 1 and 2 boss fights, mainly the boss fights, you get into these arenas where you get to do some of the coolest things ever. And the arenas feel fun. Because the arenas, they're set up in a way that you can dynamically do whatever you want to do. But you have like full freedom over how you take these combat situations. It's actually one of the most dynamic combat games I played in a very long time. Mountain Blade is very similar. I would actually say Mountain Blade is sort of like the more constrained version of that, where it's very much about the individual skill and like your ability to read and assess the situation and react accordingly, right? Like Messiah is more about you are the monster, and you eventually become so good at it that you can do pretty much anything. You want to play it eventually. I highly recommend it. It's really good. I just think you haven't played like a good combat game, right? But Mountain Blade is like, it's similar concept in terms of the ways that you do it, but a lot less physical pushing of the enemy. But a lot of the same sort of like paradigm of full control and fully dynamic combat. It's the same base framework, because all PvP, all fighting things are that same thing, right? It's, again, going back to my analogy of something that adds a number and removes a number. It's all the same thing. One side adds a number, the other side removes a number. Both sides have tools to make it so that you either can't add or remove a number, and then you like one side eventually wins, right? But again, once you start to add options, and once these games start to understand why these options are good, then you get into the fun stuff. And even Arcane Studios like Dishonored, I would say, has worse combat than Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. And and that game actually has like pretty good combat too. It's not like it's a bad game by any means, but I find that like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic just has really good combat. And it was their best experiment yet, and I kind of wish that they kept with the entire thing. But I would argue you just haven't played like a really good combat game yet. But I do agree for story games. In general, for story games, like a game like this, for instance, the combat is secondary. And it is filler. Like, it is quite literally filler to get to the fun parts. The actual good parts of the game, which is the storyline. But it's interesting when you see games use the combat system as a way to tell the narrative too. So I know I don't like invoking it, but let's say like Undertale, the way that Undertale comes in, and it's like, okay, the combat is like related to the story in like these ways, right? Same concept here. Like, if you look at the enemies and you look at how James is reacting to all this, it feels like the violence that you can inflict, no matter how simple it is, because violence, even in its simplest form, can be deadly. Violence, even in its simplest form, can be incredibly damaging. But it feels like that's what the game wants you to think about, because you're able to play within this very simple, violent framework. And when you do, it feels like it adds like a whole different layer to it too. It's a very interesting way of taking the violence. So there's ways that I think it can be done well in story games, but most story games don't do it well. And story games feel focused on the story. But I also wonder if it's a classification issue. I know this is a weird stream to talk about this stuff because like we just killed like 4 different legs, but is a story game because they went at it to make a story game, or is a story game because the only good thing about it is the story? Is it a consequence, or is it an intentional piece of design? For some games, I can see it being an intentional piece of design, like the Edith Finch game, or like Dear Esther, right? On the other hand, I see that as a consequence, where it's like some games just have such bad gameplay, but the story is so good that you kind of just want to play it, like, right? And I don't know which one it is for every single one, but I recognize that there's 2 sides of that. So even then, it'd be good to sort of narrow down that, because once you narrow down that, then it's like, okay, maybe you just haven't played a game with a good combat. But yeah, look, the only game that you purely enjoyed for the action was Doom, right? And that's a good combat game. It's a very good combat game. It's a very interesting take on the first-person shooter too, because it's so complex in the ways that you can play with the framework. It's not just shooting things, right? It's not like a CS game. But is the story bad in the game? Not necessarily. It's kind of a cool story. Well, it's a very simple story, but it's very cool. I could go on and on about this. Ah! What the fuck? Holy. Jesus! Uh-oh. Don't moan. Don't moan. That's weird. Don't moan. Are they all girls? Well, no, this is just 2 legs. This monster is literally just 2 asses and 2 legs. Or 2 pairs of legs. I think they are all girls, because I think it's relating specifically to the way that maybe James sees things, or maybe the people in this world see things. But so far, we haven't seen a pair of like throbbing balls, so probably they're all women. But I imagine that's going to be an interesting point later on, because it's like, what about the women in this game? Do they feel any certain way about these people? Like, because again, I think my theory is correct in that it's very much about the sexualization, right? Because I mean, look at what they are. It's everything from the waist down. So it's like it's only the sexual appeal. So what about the the male sexual appeal? Maybe that's Pyramid Head actually. You don't see pee-pee. Of course, Sticky only beats girls. Can we not start that rumor? These legs are too shiny and thin to be a dude. You ever see a femboy? Some good stuff. I was wrong. No, I wasn't. But it wasn't entirely right. I need to have more. Something more. Blood. Close. I was looking outside, but it is in me. There's something inside me. No, you mean something inside you? I don't have ammo. Oh no. You ever see a femboy? What's a femboy? Ooh. Chat? Tell her. Let her know. Let her know what she's missing out on. Are they gay? I actually don't know. I don't think it's like specifically has to be gay. I think because you could have a dami mommy, right? You could be a very like thin, quote unquote, effeminate dude, and you have just a very dami mommy like relationship. I think that's a very normal thing. Yeah, like not necessarily gay. I think just a lot of like there's just people who like look in different ways, right? We just assume that they're feminine or like not. But the truth is, people just look the way that they do, and not bad. We just judge them poorly for canned juice. Bloody apple, canned juice. James, why did you pick that up? What the hell's wrong with you, James? You think you're a boy femme? What does that mean? Are you a dummy mommy? Are you a dummy mommy looking for her next femboy? For her next boy toy? Throw down the canned juice? Oh, I get it. You throw down the canned juice, fill the bottom. That way you can get the thing inside that. And you push it through, see? And now I lost my bloody apple juice. Damn. You think you're you think you're a boyfriend or a mask girl. You're a goblin. The hell was that? Okay. I'm still a bit afraid, but fine. I'm actually very afraid. You know, it is. I'm afraid, but the conversation keeps me going. It's like anything, right? It's why the people in the ambulance talk to you, because they're trying to keep you sane. Sad cat. Maybe I should add that actually. No, you're not a goblin. It's fine to be masculine. It's fine to be masculine. Didn't work. 7TV, how? Oh, it's because I didn't add it. Here, you want sad cat? I'll give you sad cat. What's it called? Sad cat? Sad cat. Okay, I added it. Go. Use sad cat. Yes. They made you cry. See, look what you did, Chad. Look what you did. Actually, it's sad how many people, I guess, like look at people and then go like, oh, you have to confine yourself to a certain look. The truth is, you could look like anything and you're still you, right? There's no need to worry about that. You can tell I'm very big on like giving people the openness of being able to be who you want to be. Cause I'm chill like that. I'm real like that. I'm the realest that there ever was. I don't remember. Wait, no, this was where. Okay, yeah, this was where he was vomiting. They hated Jesus because he spoke the truth. For context, these two chatties are friends. That's why I'm not banning them. These two chatties are friends. That's why I'm not banning them. If they weren't friends, I would ban them. Where's my corn? Church. Wait, that's a symbol on the church. That's the church head. It's the church. I don't know. The ballast. I know church terms. They would often bully you. He will look at you and point at you and laugh and call you a gremlin. You're not friends with this one. They bully you. Maybe you were mean to them first. You ever think about that? 3 bright coins, 3 actors in play, yet within the shade not one dot remain. The one once so gallant has fled from day's sheen, as far as he could from the icon of sin. The one whom swore to shield in her life, now lays in the grave away from his knight. I need more coins. It's the order of coins. I know exactly what it is. This is the order of the coins. Okay. I think we're done every floor then. 101 is locked, I think, until we get there. The rest of 312 is locked up. But there's a stairway. You see that there's a stairway over there? That's part of the balcony stairway that I can maybe use to get to there. Problem is that there's like debris on the floor, so you can't go there. The stairway to go up is also blocked, so maybe you can't go all the way. And he's a pervert. He's done unspeakable things to you. I don't want to know about your sex life, Chad. I don't want to know about your sex life. You can all have your own personal sex life. I don't care. I don't even know if you guys are banging on the side, okay? Like, I really don't care. I really don't want to turn this chat into ERP zone, okay? Please. I'm asking you to please keep ERP to a 0. But play Silent Hill 2. Why'd you think it's sex? I don't know, because it's perverted. It's perverted. Who wouldn't think it's sex? You made it sound like sex. He just beats your ass, that's all. In the hill called Silence. Oh no, chat, I'm stuck. Oh my god. I need to kill you first. Don't look behind you, James. Don't look behind you. It's okay, you're safe. Don't look behind you. With a bat, with nails on it. And they call you having weird legs, saying that you're just a thing with 2 asses together. And that he would stomp on you. You think this game is making Narf excited? Probably, yeah. Like, you can tell, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell when some people like to be choked in the bed. You can tell. It's a very particular person who like likes to be choked in the bed. I can tell by the moment that you type something, chat. All of you. I have a list. I have a list that is like, there are chatters who I know like to be choked in the bed, and there are chatters that I know that don't like to be choked in the bed. Come on, follow me. Come on, through. Let's go. Come here. Ow, that actually hit me? That's crazy. I can't believe that hit me. What? Also, James, this is a random syringe. Why are you just putting it in your body? You can tell? How do you know? How can you tell? Do you think I like to be choked? Yes. I think you actually like to be choked a lot. You like to be dominated. Yeah, like listen, I could tell some, because like some people give off that like aura, right? But the problem is that some people are very deceptive too, because some people give off the aura of like they want to be dominated, but then it's like they're the ones who like dominate, like they're power bottom, right? And then there's also the ones who give off the aura of like they dominate, but then they want to be spanked. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's different kinds of people. This is the best game to talk about this, because this game is clearly about the sexo. Like, you look at this monster and tell me that this is not a good topic for this game. You're a switch. You're a switch. It depends on the person that you're with. I get that. Because it feels weird, right? To do it to somebody who's, like, weaker than you. Power bottom is a good term. It's a great term. I love the term power bottom. Right? Because, like, you're on the bottom, but, like, you're driving the experience. Like, you are the driver. You know what I mean? Oh, shit! It's a safe zone! Whoever invented the term power bottom and made it like a very well-known term, thank you. You've given my vocabulary a boost. To hell. You can switch anytime and surprise you with a good beat. You're a PowerPoint. I'm an Excel spreadsheet. I do calculations on you. They are protecting that baby with their life. What the hell do I do? I missed every single shot. I'm not even gonna lie. Give me the baby. Give me the baby. Give me the baby. Oh my god, they're coming. Oh my god. Eddie? Eddie? Eddie, 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 Eddie. Eddie, I need help. Eddie, I need help. Yo. You wanna go? Let's go. Let's go, motherfucker. Let's go. Yeah, tripping over yourself. Come on. Give me the baby. Give me the fucking baby. Oh, dear God. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's a nice map. That's a really nice map. Okay, that's cool. Please, James, stop reading that, please. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. You'd be so embarrassed after that performance. You know what? I stopped being embarrassed the moment I became a streamer. The moment I started streaming was for me a way for me to reduce my embarrassment in life. So now I can talk about anything and do anything, and I just don't care anymore. Bitches be tripping out there, and you poke me with a sharp end. I need to shoot them. I need to shoot one, and then I have to get rid of the rest somehow. Or lure them out. It feels a bit complicated. You're alive! You're about to die. I know that you're about to die. Good, you're good. So we're the guinea pigs. Yes. Unironically, yes. And I've made this clear since day one of my streaming time. You're all the guinea pigs for my experience. All of you. I basically, you know, like in RPGs, like you farm your skill off of the weak mobs. That's all of you. I farm my skill on you weak mobs. Have I actually been here? I guess I have. Oh, this is the lady from 102 who was all alone. Yeah, she was all alone. She didn't have anyone. Desperately trying to clean the table, but she couldn't. What a shame. Why was this room important? This is where I got one of the things, I think. You love guinea pig. See, this room is made for you. Welcome. You're my test subject. There's a quick train button. See, like this is maybe don't do what I do and play the game on hardcore. I do think the experience gets a lot more annoying than terrifying. And like because the problem is that the human mind, right? Some emotions are tied to other emotions. Like you can't be annoyed and afraid. When you're annoyed and you're pissed off, you're no longer afraid. It's actually weird how anger succeeds fear. And maybe vice versa. Like when you fear enough, you almost stop feeling anger too. That's bad. Don't turn it hardcore. But I have to. I wanna. Get down there. Why can't you drop down? Oh, really, James? Oh, really, James? You need stairs? James, you need stairs? What are you? 80? What do you mean? Jump! James, you're kidding me. James, a child could make that jump. An actual child, a baby. Oh, you double hit me? Fuck you. I'll double hit you, bitch. It's shit. It's shit. Make it a soft porn. Okay, it's too much. Give me a little shit. Why can't James jump down there? Finally! I'm done. At the Neuroscience Institute, there's this guy. What a crazy start to a sentence after what I just did and what we just talked about. At the Neuroscience Institute, there's this guy that you always bother when you point. He built this test where mice have to touch different touchscreens, but he hasn't implemented the mechanism yet that rewards them. But the mice just go in the chamber over and over and over again, even without the reward. That's basically what we are. Yeah. I mean, that's how we train dogs. You can do that to like anybody. What's funny is that you can do that to everybody. You can actually make them really happy, and then you just stop making them happy. And all of a sudden, they don't know why they're happy in it anymore. James, really? Oh, snake coin. For sunshine. A flower. Like a dahlia or a Delilah or something. Honestly, I get the mice. People think that was so complex, but we're just the same. Like, look, I could say we love golf clubs. Or sorry, I could say we buy golf clubs, and everyone in the chat would start typing we buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs. We're just all animals, right? And it's why I think this game is like going towards that too. Like the story of this game feels like, because with all the monsters, right? The top half doesn't matter. The bottom half is all it really is. I think it's really getting to this idea of people being just animals. Like we're just animalistic in the ways that we are. See, look, we buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs. To Luca. Over the Silent Hill. Welcome. Woodside Apartments. The gate is open from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Outside those hours, request assistance at the reception. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that, chat. There is nothing wrong with that. How do you get inside there? How do you get inside there? What? How do I get inside this unit? 101. That's the window? We're about golf clubs. I can't be the only one who's Pavlov there like chat into certain things. I feel like every streamer Pavlov's there like chat, no? Just the way of the jungle. The way of the world. This takes me back to the main room. I've done that side. I've done everything, actually. I have all the coins. You have 5 slots, but you don't need 5 coins. Yeah. You just need enough coins to fix it. It says 3. It says 3 people. Here, look. 3 bright coins, 3 actors in play, yet within the shade, not one dot remain. The one so gallant has fled from day's sheen, so the sun, as far as he could from the icon of sin. What's interesting is that the icon of sin, it's interesting to say that that's the icon of sin. Like the sun is the icon of sin. Anyways, that's the gallant knight. The one whom swore to shield in her life now lays in a grave away from his sight. The one he swore to shield in his life now stays away from his sight. So she's in the grave. And then I don't know where this guy goes. The snake. Oh, do you need to do it by the faces? Oops. Has fled from Dacian far as he can from the icon of sin. Is a snake the icon of sin? I know if a snake is the icon of sin. The one once so gallant. 3 bright coins, 3 actors in play within the shade, not one dot remain. You know what it is? Is bronze bright? Probably not. Right? The one once so gallant has fled from Day's sheen, as far as he could from the icon of sin. A flower? No, this is the icon of sin. Is a snake the icon of sin? Why? There we go. His blade strikes that which from the roots doth arise. His blade strikes that which from the roots doth arise. There we go. Followed by guilt and the heart of demise. Followed by guilt. The life he once had, he has left behind. Where once there was love, now a stone resides. His blade strikes that which from roots doth arise. Here we go. Strikes that which from roots doth arise. So in the middle. Followed by guilt and the heart of demise. Look at this. The life he once had, he has left behind. Where once there was love, now a stone resides. Which is actually her tombstone. Oops, sorry. And then it's like this. Right? Followed by... The snake is the icon of sin. You know, because the first sin that had humanity banished from a paradise? Whoa, buddy, this is a Buddhist channel, alright? I don't believe in that shit. Imagine some poor Buddhist kid playing this game. He's like, why the fuck is a snake the icon of sin? Imagine some poor fucking Buddhist kid. He's like, what the fuck is the icon of sin? There ain't no sin. Life is suffering, man. He's like, what the fuck do I do? Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. Wait, I just started laughing after saying that. It's just, honestly, I love jokes about Buddhism because my culture is so steeped in Buddhism that it's so fucking funny. And it's also funny that, like, because, like, people say this stuff like it's super obvious, but it's like, if I didn't grow up Christian, the connotations between the snake and sin feel just as nebulous as, like, rain and sadness. Very nebulous. It's very difficult. Because to a farmer, rain is happiness. But then, and then, you know, to a honey badger, a snake is a satisfaction. It's dinner. Snake defamation. Snake did nothing wrong. I agree. He simply guided us towards our true nature. The snake simply made us who we really are. His blade strikes that which from the roots doth rise. Oh. Which from the roots doth rise. Sorry, I didn't understand. There we go. He kneels by the crown that casts a cruel shade onto the visage of her who did fade. By them not a soul, not a sight, nor a sound, and yet evil slithers upon the radiant ground. Uh-huh. Oops, didn't mean to swap you. Go like this. He kneels by the crown that casts a cruel shade. There we go. The beast that from death and decay had spawned. He who has failed, she who's now beyond. The beast that from death and decay had spawned. Reminds me of the first game. Now you pass the judgment on figures of play, and choose where the burden of sin doth lay. Yeah. 201, let's go. I want to see like a straight up like Buddhist dude who has never seen any like, you know, Judeo-Christian scripture like try to play this game. I want to see them try to go through this game and figure out what the fuck is going on. That'd be an amazing stream. He'd be like, what the fuck is it? Why is the snake sinful? The snake gives me wisdom. It lets me strike harder. You know what I mean? Like it gives you strength. What's funny is that if I say that I like religious jokes, I would get in hot water. But I make her. But I made. Listen, that is the best religious joke that you could make because it's just funny. It's not. It's not even disrespectful. It's just funny. God, I'm such a good comedian. Alright, the hell is in 201? There's an alarm. You hear that? And the tree. The tree of sin. The apple of... Who said that? Apple of Eden? Give me a second. What's funny about that puzzle, actually, I know it's a weird segue. What's interesting about that puzzle is that you don't even need to know anything about Christianity to solve it, because the puzzle has only so many permutations, and every other permutation is taken by everything else. There's actually not much that you need to figure out. Like, for instance, you just have the permutation of like the knights and the sword, and then the lady and her grave, and then the flower and the snake. And the flowers are almost always universally, I guess, considered to be a very good thing. Although it depends on the flower. But it's easy to sort of extrapolate that, yes, the snake is the representation of the icon of sin. So even just a random kid that only has ever known Buddhism would be able to solve it. It's actually a very good puzzle. Okay, James, you just entered someone's home and started breaking things. What is wrong with you? Did Jesus knock on my door? No, it was my wife. She's always watching, actually. So she knows how weird all of you are. She's formed her own opinions on all of you. And I want you to know that. She's formed opinions of every single one of you. Hi, wife. You're not. No one's allowed to talk to her. Only I am. Kidding, kidding. You're free to talk to her. I like that. That was a very subtle way to tell you, look at the door. Very, 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 very subtle. But I want to see this first. Ah! Oh my god. Oh god. You idiots! There was a lot in that cutscene, and I kind of hate that was the trigger to go to the next area. I thought the trigger to go to the next area was the door, and not that. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Did you notice something interesting about that? The way that the monster grabbed the ladies, the way that he grabbed. I mean, let's just assume that they're ladies, okay? I mean, but the reality is that it could be it could be anything. But the way that they grabbed them, and the way that they were foisting them on the table, and you heard the grunts. They weren't like happy moans or anything. They were very it's a very violent game. It's a very, very violent game. It's a very sexually charged game. But I think that's what the game is trying to go for. Because this creature was being forced to open its legs. It's that. I can't say that because I'll instantly get banned. No, I can't say that because I'll get banned. I'll probably get banned immediately. But that's sort of what is going on in this game, and it's fascinating to sort of see that, right? Because it's a very, very violent take of what happens in real life, but it's sort of also true to reality that this stuff happens. And then, you know, when James hides in the closet and he's trying to use the gun to shoot it, and he realizes that there's no way to shoot it, it's fascinating. It's like he's driven by fear to pull the trigger in the worst way possible, and it doesn't land for obvious reasons, right? It just won't land. But then the thing walks away. It's not interested in him. It really doesn't care about him. It just cares about this. And the way it drags it away, this pair of legs, the first pair of legs, it was like a piece of meat, just taking it for some fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as you know what I'm trying to say, I just can't say it because I'll get banned. Yeah, they definitely went for the sexual violence thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you feel bad for us girls. In Alien, it's like this too. Yeah, I mean, in real life, it's like this too. Like it's pretty bad all around. So, but I'm glad that the game is sort of like, I guess, taking that as a concept. It's a very interesting concept to go for. It's a very bold concept to go for, and I wonder if that's the same as it was in the original, or like how different it is. Because again, I haven't played the original. Don't tell me about it. But when we go back to play that, it's gonna be interesting to see how the game handled those topics and in showing them too. Here we go. In darkness, the door wakes. Oh god. Now we're kind of squarely in the domain of whatever that thing was. And I know its name is Pyramid Head, but I wonder what it represents. Because it's interesting. The Pyramid Head is very unlike everything that we've seen so far. Every other monster has been some form of sexual entity, some sexual focus. The Pyramid Head is topless. But that's not the only sexual thing about, what seems like a male figure, right? I mean, you have cock and balls. Cock and balls are pretty sexual too. So it's clearly not about the sexuality of it. But it's also very much about the way that it covers up something, its head. And it reminds me of the sentiment of like, see no evil, hear no evil, do no evil. But it only really covers the see and the hear. And it's still doing evil. It's a very fascinating take on that concept. It can't hear anything, probably. Can't see anything, at least, well, it saw us, but it can definitely do evil, and very much the same way that, we just saw, and maybe even more considering this place is destroyed. Again, look at this too. This decay, this rotting structure. It's similar to the first game. The way that it had these rusted out structures, this sort of feeling of, it's things are slowly fading away. And this idea of an alternate world where you're stepping through a portal almost, right? Same concept. You walk through a door, all of a sudden it's just darkness. It makes you wonder what's going on, where are we? And how much of Silent Hill did we really save on that night as Henry Mason? If at all. And it's interesting to know that these monsters are being dragged back by the larger monster, by the Pyramid Head. It seems to drag them back further in, instead of keeping them in our world. It's weird. It's like a containment, almost. Trying to keep it together. Trying to keep it all in a space that is of its own control. And not in ours. Very interesting. Oh fuck, what the hell is that? And the idea of vomiting and the connection to bulimia is very interesting too. I was thinking about this a lot because it's a very common tactic, and it's not a tactic. It's a very common thing that like happens when you're bulimic. You force yourself to vomit. It causes irreparable damage to your upper half. Oh my god, these things are bombs. Oh my god. Well, now we know. Now we know. We had a handkerchief. It's interesting. A stained handkerchief. Feels very familiar. But even the idea of like the biles and the humors feels a lot like that concept too. The old the old medical concept of these things that are good and bad about us being, I guess, simplified down to biles and humors. These liquids in our body that carry some essence, some vitae. It's fascinating how much you can sort of draw from these elements. That wall looks like something's gonna break through it. I'm so afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Oh, do I break it? I guess I do. Wow, James, so strong. And though it's terrifying, I feel very much at ease compared to how I was before. Because before, it was normalcy littered with something terrifying. Whereas now, it's something terrifying that has taken over normalcy. And I really sort of enjoyed that they brought this concept back too. These like chain mesh things. Because it feels like, conceptually, like you're seeing things as they are. You're now seeing the truth of the world. You're seeing through the layers to see underneath what it actually is. These chain mesh wires. And it doesn't make any sense, right? Because if you saw through, it means that this is see-through, this is transparent, it's just pure darkness outside. What does it mean to be in pure darkness? We don't really know that. It seems impossible to fathom. And I think that's almost amazing in a way, the way that they're able to convey this feeling. It's why I enjoyed a lot about the first game too. It's a very interesting concept that absolutely works well. Where's that monster? The leg monster. I know it's hiding somewhere. It's gonna jump scare me again. Hello. Hello. Come here. Come on. Okay, now it spits out like acid launchers. Okay, it's way more targeted now. It's right there, by the way, right on the side. What's interesting about the way that this monster works is that ow. What? That still hit me. The way the monster works has changed a little bit too. It's very, very focused in what it does now. But it feels almost like it's running out of bile to spit at you. Of acid. Hey. Come on, Mike Tyson, let's go! Motherfucker! It's weird, the way that the horror kind of like stops being as effective. Because you're so desensitized to it, right? Like you're so desensitized to the violence that it stops being terrifying to you. There's still moments where it surprises you, but I'm only really surprised now and not afraid anymore. Now it's routine. And I wonder if other games took inspiration from this game, because it's hard to remember that this is a remake of an older game. Because it feels so modern in the way that it does things, but is that because some concepts are timeless, or is it because genuinely they've actually changed the game to the point where it's so different from the original? I don't know. But when we go back to play the original, we're gonna see whether or not it is a timeless concept, because the way it feels right now, it's like. It feels like the violence is a part of the story that you're playing. You becoming desensitized as a player feels like it's a very intentional portion of this. Interesting. Very interesting. I also absolutely hate this level. There's no save zone. Butterflies. Moths. Moths at 202. The moth room. And it's weird that, you know, we see these games from the perspective of the dudes. I wonder if there's ever a game that's tackled this concept, this idea of sexual violence from the perspective of the woman. Because the way it is now, it does feel a bit like a narrative device that's designed to push you forward. And not really, you know what I mean? Like, and not really like the main focus. But I can't tell if that's true or not. Rather, it feels so subtle so as to be almost unimportant. But maybe that's an intentional effect of what it's trying to get at. Oh my god. You wouldn't do me dirty in a save room, right? Oh, good. It's also interesting that the save rooms work the way that they do. The save rooms feel a lot like... Because James says this, right? Somebody's groping around in his mind and his memories. And I think that's why the save room feels like the way that it is. It's a bit like somebody trying to remember something or trying to make sense of the world. And thus, you know, they're just trying to build like some level of safety here for James, in a way. Like they're using him to farm these memories, so they need to keep him alive, so they give these little moments of reprieve. First comes their leader, most crucial his guest. His pace slow but steady, he's now heading west. The nimblest one climbed, stumbled through thin air. He's not fallen yet, but he's halfway there. The one that remains can't make up her mind. 5 steps ahead or 5 steps behind. Huh. That's for the clock. Oh my god. You gonna go in VA chat now? No worries. Have fun. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. I forgot to answer a question too, actually. To the person who asked earlier what my wife thinks of you all collectively as a chat, she said it's cute that I have this chat. She said specifically that it's very cute that I have these like legions of people who are here to watch me, and it's funny that I'm able to do this. But it's cute in like an endearing way, not in a what the fuck is going on and like why are you doing this way. First comes their leader, most crucial his guest. His pace slow but steady, he's now heading west. I don't have anything. We're missing the hands. And clocks don't head west. What's in this room? Clocks don't head west. Oh, what's in that room? I'm really enjoying this game a lot. I seriously wonder how this... Say this section, right? I'm sure this section was a forced camera angle section. How well has this translated? But again, my worries of the game having to butcher the layout of the room to make everything work have not come to fruition. What the reality of it is that everything works very well. Well, L. It still feels like a very real, very, very large area to go through. It still feels like a genuinely good set of level designs that don't feel archaic or like confusing for the sake of being confusing. It feels like a real home. And they've done a great job blocking it out so as to not be able to see everything all at once. And the camera angle feels tight. Like it feels genuinely tight. Oh, fuck! My flashlight died. My turn. My turn. My turn. My turn. My turn. Ow! It's my turn. Your turn. Okay, now it's my turn. It's your turn. Okay, now it's my turn. Eat shit. You broke the rules. Maybe it's intentional, but the gameplay is simple. You know what I mean? Not just from this is a horror game perspective. But also from this is a Silent Hill 2 thing. Because when the combat is simple, it becomes rote, it becomes routine, it becomes like, oh, it's your turn, it's my turn, it's your turn, it's my turn. There's no question about it. It just works the way that it does. And I wonder if that's like an intentional aspect of the game. To make it feel like something that you just do, that you get used to. It's like a daily habit that you do. It's like a little thing for work that you do. It's just a thing that you do all the time, and it eventually becomes just something that you internalize, this pattern. This pattern. And it reminds me of this concept of like patterns of behavior too, right? Like I think everybody sort of falls to this, but I've heard it mainly used with the more problematic context of like, you know, you have a pattern of behavior doing this thing and being this kind of person. It's like, yeah, some people do. And I wonder if that's the thing that's trying to convey, because it feels like it feels like that's what it's trying to convey. I will say these feel very contrived, but I get it because it makes it so that you can't just leave. You have to fight your way through. You must do it in slowness. Hey! What the? Gun in the ammo in the baby crib spawns a bug. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh, okay. Jesus, that hits me? What? It's this monster that I'm most interested in. The leg monster is very obvious. This, it's a bit obtuse in the way that it shows things, which says to me that there's a bit more complexity to it. Not to say that the leg monster isn't complex itself. I think it's a very complex thing, but the act and the violence that it sort of is implying is simple in its manner. Not to say that it's good, not to say that it's easy, but to say that it's simply a simple matter of good, of right versus wrong. With this feels like there's a lot more complexity to it. Like, it's like the bottom half makes sense. There's sort of this feels a lot like a tokenization of a person to only the things that, you know, you enjoy, which is the sexuality of it. But then what does that mean for the top half? Is it their pursuit of trying to meet those standards? Or is it something deeper, something even more complex? Is it trauma, right? Is it pain that is, you know, resonating through their body that then forces them to expel everything, right? Like, I don't really know what it means. All I know is that there's a deeper meaning to it that isn't as simple, but it's still just as impactful, the effects that it has. What a fascinating game. I'm glad I'm actually doing the remake first, too. I think playing the original would have been a cool experience, but also would have been entirely very painful to do on my... Oh. 3 chairs watching a wheelchair. That's a bit much. Three chairs watching a wheelchair. And this was already dead when I came here. That's also dead when I came here. This feels voyeuristic. But it feels voyeuristic in a very awful sense. Oh my god. When you're in a wheelchair, you're most, like, that's a vulnerable target of the population. You can't move on your own. You can to some degree, but you generally need somebody's help to do a lot of things, right? It's hard to be self-sufficient on the wheelchair without a lot of the framework around you becoming so. So on the one hand, this feels like the meeting of a family. On the other, the way that it's laid out and the opposing numbers feels a lot like an examination of sorts, or like a whatchamacallit? Like they're trying to overpower in a way. Which is freaky. I am not. Oh my god. Why do I hear something metallic coming? The radio's going off. Something is coming. Oh god. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. I kind of hate. Okay, I do hate the hitbox of that monster. That monster's hitbox is very weird. To be fair, you're supposed to walk as far away as you can, but oh god. Turn the lights off, I guess. Yeah, I don't like the way that looks. And it's weird how it has two forms, right? It looks like a baby carriage, but it's also a wheelchair. It's specifically the way that the material drapes over it that hides the bottom that looks like a baby carriage. And it's interesting to think of it like that, I think, because baby carriages kind of cover the same effect. Like, they do the same thing. A baby carriage is meant to carry this thing that cannot carry itself. A wheelchair is meant to carry this person that cannot carry themselves. The only difference is, do you call it a thing, or do you call it a person? Do you call it a baby, or do you call it a fully grown adult? You know, that's the main difference there. And that's sort of like the most interesting part about that, is that depending on the context and who you ask and how evil they are, or rather how devoid of life they are, they'll call it either of those, right? It's infantilization. It's sort of like this like otherness. It's a fascinating angle. Maybe I'm examining it too far, but I feel like this is one of those games where you have to examine things like this in this very critical eye. Because surely it's not as simple as a nothing burger. I think it's behind there. Oh, fuck. The blood trail goes left. Over here. God, the combat music here is way more terrifying, too. The combat music anywhere else doesn't sound as terrifying as this. And I love it. Similar to the first game, where you get into an area where there's this industrial sounding noise, this it feels otherworldly. Again, it's similar to what I said in the first game, where it's as if these things, they don't know what humanity sounds like. They simply they're trying to approximate what humanity sounds like, but they don't know how to do it. It's like how angels will descend upon the earth covered in eyes, right? With wings, endless numbers of wings and an endless number of eyes. Because they simply don't know what we look like. It's like the bones of an angel don't really fit in their body. Why is it so peaceful? Radio. Huh. That's a nice song. I like that. I want to do all my fighting in his room. Oh. That's a nice song. It feels almost too peaceful for what it's trying to be, though. But maybe that's the point. Juxtaposed in between all this horror, that's the reality that We're in a world, though it is unlike our own, was still ours at some point. It simply isn't anymore. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't at some point ours. Let's go to the courtyard. Also, I can open that door on the left. I really don't think I should. That's the question of, what do you invite when you do so? Because you can only really... People lock doors up either to keep something in or to keep something out. You can't really undo that choice. Continue a bit more. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh god. Oh god. Hello? That's one down. There's one more. God, this combat music is terrifying. It's specifically the clock noise, too. The way it's a clock going up and down. You hear it so clearly. It's just a clock that's going. It's like, oh god. What does that mean? Oi! Jesus. I know it seems violent, but that thing was for sure alive. That thing was for sure gonna come alive. Absolutely gonna come alive. I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna fall, aren't I? 306. Hey. Candles and mirrors. Oh. Oh no. I need to go pee. I think peeing will help calm me down. Gerby. Will I lie to you? No. I refuse to lie to you. Do you know why? Lying gains me nothing and simply tarnishes my reputation. To lie to you and say that today is a long stream day, and I don't have to go after another 3 hours. So we may not even make it to mouthwashing, but we'll see. I really don't want to touch this. Okay, James. Okay, Mr. James. Hey! Mamma mia! Mamma mia! Haha! Done. Oh! What? What hurt me there at the final? What hurt me at the final step? Oh, put that syringe in your arm. Dude, this guy's arm is gonna look like real crusty after. Jesus Christ. This guy's arm is gonna have like all kinds of pock marks on it. It's not gonna. This is not going well. Oh god. Okay. Well, we released the chains. I know what that thing is now. But again, every time we do that, it only gets worse. Where did this monster come from? Huh? Where did this monster come from? The washroom was empty. Fuck. How much ammo do I have? 24. I have 34 ammo. Don't do it like I did Silent Hill 1. In Silent Hill 1, I had the same problem. Where I thought I have a lot of ammo, so I'm gonna keep using ammo. And then when I needed the ammo for the boss fight, it wasn't there. So we used all the healing items, and we had to like one-shot the final boss, so as not be stuck in a time loop. There's a new door behind me. What? Oh, it's not a new door. This is just takes me backwards. Well, it's not like I can save anyways. This is a fascinating zone because you can't save. It's weird how you have to, like, you're forced to go through this entire thing. Who? Which one you fuckers woke up? We have a key for 306. The radio is in 307. We should get the radio. Oh! Ah! Ah! Jesus! God damn! The way these monsters fight is very interesting too. The monster with two legs, the way it fights, it's a gameplay thing, but it's also a bit of a... It's an interesting way of telling some story of how it fights. It's almost like the way it fights... Oh god, I just had the image in my head. I don't know if I should say it though. The way it fights feels very much like when you're on the floor trying to grapple, or somebody's like choking you or something, and you're trying to push back, but your arms can't do anything. So you try to kick them at the same time when you're on top. That's kind of what that feels like, actually. That's a bit of a more of an image in my mind, and I wonder if that's exactly what it's trying to go for. Then that's how I know that. Oh, that's actually very morbid. Don't feel like that. Hello? Oh god. Ah! Jesus Christ! Drink the health drink. James, drink it, drink it, drink it, James, drink it. No time to worry about the drinking problem. Just drink the health drink. I knew we should have cleared the body on the floor. That's why I always punch the bodies on the floor. That's why you always kill the monsters on the floor. Always. Fuck. But yeah, that image of the way the boxing monster fights is very morbid to me. It's very... This game is very heavy. I didn't expect this. It wears you down. You know what I mean? It wears you down to see something so heavy. But it's sort of like the reality of life. Life is heavy. So maybe it's good to see this. Or not good to see it, but it is at least... It's not trying to be the worst thing ever. It's trying to tell you something. Oh! What the fuck? No, James, stop. James, stop. James, stop. James, stop. James, stop. James. James, you have to hold that zone. Is this like the break too? Please don't tell me it's gonna break. Oh my god. And And the use of mirrors. I really enjoy the use of mirrors because it's exactly the thing it's trying to tell you, which is somebody who's paying so much attention to themselves. Somebody who's just looking at themselves constantly, like they're obsessed with themselves. But obsession with yourself, it could be anything, right? You could actually love yourself or you could actually hate yourself, but it's myriad in its meanings. That's the thing that gets me, is that it's myriad in its meanings. Oh, fuck. Oh, I say as I enter a room full of fucking mirrors. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's myriad in the ways that you can interpret it. Because of that, you end up in a space where you fucking... mirrors are everywhere. Oh, God! Why are you here? Why can't I target this? To be fair, it's inside the wall. And what's interesting is that this game has always had this mechanic of being able to break... Die! Oh! Yo. What up, motherfucker? Let's go. 1, 2, 1. 2. Okay, only one. Only one. Okay, it's your turn. Sorry. I tried to go out of turn. Sorry. The stomping would feel so much better. I don't know if that's the right thing to say in the context of this game, but it feels so much better if the stomping didn't teleport you all the time. But yeah, this game has always had this concept of breaking mirrors. Like, you've always been able to break mirrors in this game. It's interesting to think about that, because it's like the concept of what a mirror is and what it implies in the game has always been a huge facet of this game. Hey Chad, how are you? Welcome. And it's kind of scary to think about this. Because maybe I should be breaking all of these mirrors. Like, maybe it's important for me to breaking every single mirror. By the way, this chatter made a very hilarious rubber chicken frying image GIF. My chat is actually ruthless to each other. I don't know if my chat likes each other, but everyone is making fun of what everyone else eats, and it's so funny to me that I've cultivated a society of hate in my Discord channel. But it's not like hate speech. It's like people like post a picture of a food, and it's like, oh, it's not a 5-star meal. Well, then I guess I'm gonna make fun of it with a GIF. And people make it. What's crazy? You made that GIF. Like, you made the GIF of you dipping the food, of dipping a rubber chicken to get the food, and you cropped it, and you did a whole animation in Figma. Like, that's funny to me. You went through all that effort just to shitpost someone's fish and chips. They just want to share their fish and chips, chat. I know it's a waste of ammo, but I really want to do this, and I don't know why. But I feel incredibly compelled to break every single mirror. Took you like 15 minutes. That's why it's funny. Like, it's not easy to do. So like, you had to go through the effort of doing it, which is so funny to me. It's like, why are you guys like this to each other? Why is my chat like this to each other? Why can't you all be friends, huh? That was such a waste of ammo, but I don't know why, but I feel like I have to do this to feel satisfied. But I'm glad. I'm glad people are having fun in the Discord server, and people feel comfortable doing that. Because fish and chips, really? For like breakfast? No, I'm just kidding. Fish and chips are fine. It's just funny to me that, like, that's the community now. people just like shitposting each other. You know what it is? I'm glad that people are shitposting with each other. Yeah, exactly. Only real friends can be dicks to each other. It's why it's why I'm so mean to all of you. Not that we're friends, but like, you know what I mean? Is this important? Should I be doing this? I don't know. It feels important from like a lore standpoint. Oops. I missed. That's gonna be a shame. Not that we're friends, Chad. But we're in a space where people feel like they can be free with each other. Which is what I wanted. I wanted a space where people feel like they can be... I have no ammo. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Ah! That breaks all the mirrors anyways. I didn't have to shoot every mirror. It would have broken every mirror anyways. I don't... Why did I do that? God damn it. I don't have any more ammo. Oh god. Oh god. Bad room. Bad room. Really bad room. Oh, ow. Oh, fuck off! Oh! How far back do I have to go? If it's really far back, I just call it here. For Silent Hill 2. I don't mind consequences. What I hate is wasting my time to go do everything that I did before, but just slightly better. Hey, you know what? Let's call it there. My save file isn't that far away, but I don't want to have to go through this section. And it's a bit of a short day anyway, so probably better to have some time. I don't like this. Well, I like it, but this is sort of where the frustrating elements come in. It's why modern games have so many checkpoints, right? But it's also hard for a horror game because it's like, if you do it for a horror game, it feels like the horror elements don't matter. But at the same time, have they ever really mattered? It's like when because when there's major consequences, now I don't feel like I'm experiencing things. I just feel like I have to redo it all over again. And I get kind of annoyed of it, and I'm like, I don't know if I enjoy the experience here to go through it again. Which is like annoying. Whereas I would rather just continue and play the game doing something new the entire time, but I can't. And I feel conflicted because it's like they have to make a concession in some way, right? It can't just be you going through everything, all like just all perfectly all the time. It has to. You have to have consequences somewhere. But I'm so far back from where we were that I have to redo that entire segment, and I really don't know if I want to do that. So let's just call it here. And let's just say it's my bad for not playing absolutely perfectly. Because, dear God, is that painful. Oh, man. But I really do. I really do enjoy this game. Again, it just feels conflicted. The way it uses violence and the way that the combat is so important. But I wonder if I lowered the difficulty, how much of a different experience that is. But it feels like the game wants you to play on hardcore. Because the experience that you get on hardcore is exactly the experience that I think the game is trying to tell the story with. It's the framework that it's trying to use to tell you a story about violence. And everything in this game is violent. To violently expel something from your body like Eddie, to like vomit, to kick the keys away, to say that something's groping his brain when he saves, to see that the Pyramid Head grabbing the legs of the monster, forcing something, right? Like there's so many different things about this game that feel violent, and so it feels like a disservice to play the game on any lower difficulty, because it feels like you're getting a whole different experience. Especially with the puzzles. The puzzles themselves were said to be like, you have to play in the highest one because it changes the concept of the game. And that's interesting to me because it's like, how different would this game have been if you played on a different puzzle difficulty? But even the combat, I feel, is so important to the feeling of the game. This feeling of like, just what's that term? What's that term? Slogging. It feels like a slog through the entire environment. And if I was better at the game, and it's weird too, that if you're better at the game, the violence becomes nothing. It's weird how divorced you are from the violence of the game in general. It's sort of an interesting concept to think about when you think about games and violence, and how they seem to, and how they try to portray it. But here, I think I'm at the right skill level where it's just frustrating enough where it works, and it feels like it's telling me a larger artistic vision because I'm bad at the game, right? But it doesn't feel like I'm bad at the game. It feels like I'm playing into the game's things, but it does mean that I need more time to go through it. Because as good as this game is, man, that was an intense, like, 2 hours. Like, that was an intense... I think we just did a lot today. We just saw, like, we saw sexual violence. Like, we saw, like, forcefulness. We learned more about these different characters and like, what they represent. We found Eddie. We killed three of these things circling, like, a baby curb. Like, I believe we've seen so much, and we felt so much. And it's weird how much my heart can only take so much. But I really, really enjoy this. I like having my heart being carved out with a knife almost. Feels good.